So we are on to day 2 of my top 10 week, which is technically 2 weeks. Again, about a week ago, I asked for your guys' input to give me some ideas for top 10 list videos because I'm going to be doing a bunch right in a row. I'm going to be doing about 8 to 10 throughout a 2-week period. And you guys gave me a bunch of different ideas. And so if you were lucky enough, I picked your video yesterday. I chose somebody who wanted me to do top 10 fragrances I would repurchase. And today I'm going to be getting into top 10 fragrances that will leave a lasting impression. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, my great smelling dudes, welcome back to my channel for day 2 of top 10 week. Again, I asked for your topics, your ideas, and for those geniuses out there that had some great ones, I went and I chose your topics for the next 2 weeks. We're going to be going through and doing some of them, and if you're lucky enough, I went through and chose your bright ideas. So before we get into this bright idea, make sure that if you're not already and you like my content, you hit that subscribe button. Everybody hit that like. Takes 2 seconds, and then comment below. Let me know some fragrances for you that will leave a lasting first impression. So again, yesterday I did one where it was top 10 fragrances that I would repurchase. Thanks to that person who did that. And then today, again, I believe the terminology the person used is 10 fragrances that will leave a good first impression, for a lasting first impression, whatever it might be, but same difference. I just know the terminology wasn't exactly the one that I used here, but we're going to be doing top 10 fragrances that will leave a lasting first impression. But I had to think about that because the one thing about leaving a first impression on somebody with a fragrance is that there's so many different people out there that have different scent styles that they like, scent profiles that they like. And so leaving a first impression on specific people is hard to really, you have to do it based on the person that you're going to, or at least based on the situation. So for a lot of these, I built these for certain situations. For instance, we're going to go with the bold choice for the cooler weather. If you're going out and you're going on a date and you want to make, and you know this person likes the bold stuff, or you want to leave a good first impression and you want to come off a bit more masculine, but it's also going to have that cuddling aspect to it, this one's definitely going to do it. It is by Issey Miyake. This is discontinued, but it's Low Dissy Pour Homme Noir Ambre. Yeah. That's a mouthful, but it's Noir Ambre. Issey Miyake's Noir Ambre. This is the perfect, if you want to leave a first impression on somebody and you want to come off, so this is a cooler weather fragrance, but it can be worn as a signature night out scent all year round. It depends on how hot it is, but I would say 70 degrees or less is okay for this. But with that said, Noir Ambre will leave a lasting first impression. And if you're going on a date and you also want to take her home or whoever home that night, I do have to say, this fragrance, it starts out really masculine. It has that spice. It has almost this oriental value to it. It has like a nice leathery nuance to the entire fragrance and like a little bit of a woody tone. But after about an hour or so into the fragrance, maybe a little bit less, this turns into a creamy, warm, cuddling sandalwood amber fragrance. And it really is sandalwood, amber, vanilla. And you mix those all together and it's creamy and comforting. And that is what this fragrance is, with a slight darker nuance underneath it. But that is, you want to make that first impression when you first get to that date. Well, that's what this fragrance is going to do in that opening hour, because it's going to be more masculine. It's going to have that spice. It's going to really be pleasuring to the nose, especially for anyone who likes something bold, statement maker. But then once you guys get acclimated and you want to go home and maybe watch a movie or something, this also has part 2 or act 2 of this fragrance, which is that cuddling, comforting dry down. So that's what I'm talking about. There's different aspects, but you wouldn't want to take this to a job interview to make a first impression. That's just not what you would want to take. The one that you would want to take for that is Dior Homme Sport 2021. Dior Homme Sport 2021. You could also use Cashy. Either one of them is a very easy on the on the nose. So, but it also is a nice statement maker. This one, it really provides a nice freshness while also providing a little bit of like this luxurious feeling. So if you walk in, they already know you mean business based on how you smell. This has pink pepper really rolling through it with aldehydes that really give an uplifting, luxurious, almost like boss man feeling to the fragrance. While it is a signature scent worthy, so you can wear this dressed down or to an interview and dressed up with a tie, it doesn't really matter. This kind of reacts based on how you're, like, if someone perceives you in t-shirt and shorts with this fragrance on, it's going to come off more fresh, citrus, aldehydic. But if you're going to an interview and you have a suit on, this actually becomes more luxurious, a bit more spicy. That's just the way that it's perceived based on what you're wearing, I found, and that's why it's a great signature scent-worthy fragrance. Dior Homme Sport 2021 is definitely a perfect office scent, but again, can be worn in pretty much any situation, and I absolutely love it. It's a lap of luxury. It is really a great fragrance to wear in any situation, and it's my favorite Dior Homme of all time. There is other fragrances out there. If you're looking for ease of wear and you want to make, whether it's on a first date, you're going to work, going to an interview, and you only have maybe 1 or 2 fragrances in your collection, this is a very easy one to pick up, especially for the price. This is Mont Blanc Explorer. I don't mention this very much, and I should. It's really a beautiful take on a designer style Aventus cologne meets the Mont Blanc Explorer DNA. I mean, which you probably don't even know. If you don't know it, you don't know it. But it's a lot of people say it smells like Aventus. It doesn't. It starts out where it's a little bit more like Aventus cologne, but more based on mass appeal, not as woody or as have that Creed style DNA. It's just citrus, effervescent, has a little bit of a slight fruity tone, and then it's woody, and it's fresh, and it's clean, and it gives you that feeling again of that masculine, luxurious man. That's what it is. But again, it's also another one of those fragrances like Dior Homme Sport, where it's based on what you're wearing is how you're perceived. But this one has more of a woodiness to it, especially when you get to the dry down, and it has more of this effervescent pop, especially in the opening, that it really is something that, while it still maintains to be in that Creed Aventus style of DNA, it does its own thing, and it's really, the way I perceive it is, it's the designer Creed Aventus. If you want something that's like Creed Aventus, but you don't want to spend the money, buy a $20 1.7 ounce version of that, and it'll get you something similar, where it has the citrus and it has that darker woody tone. It has that masculine vibe. That's what this is. That's what Mont Blanc Explorer is. So, yeah. Very, very nice. If you are going to a wedding and you want to make a great first impression at a wedding, if you're trying to pick up one of the bridesmaids maybe, well, let me just tell you, this one is just going to be the one to do that. This is Roja Parfums Isola Blue. And it's used to be called Oligarch, but this is a beautiful lime citrus fragrance that is very high quality. And so people will perceive you as being somebody that has money. At least the way that I perceive it when I smell this. It's not something that you smell every single day, but it smells like money. Like when you spray this on and you walk into somebody, like, this is not something you want to wear dressed down. This is something that you want to wear again to a wedding, to like some kind of like formal party. That is what I find for this fragrance. It's fresh, it's clean, but it has, again, another effervescent pop. So I do have a lot of effervescent fragrances on here. But the lime in this is beautiful. Again, it's very high quality. It dries down and gets a nice woody tone, some musk. It's very, very, very beautiful. Has a tropical vibe to it at times. But if you like fragrances like Sospiro Vibrato, like that, it kind of fits in that realm while being more on that citrusy side. But yeah, if you want something high quality that makes you smell like you're in the lap of luxury, you want somebody to think that you're rich when you're walking in, wear that fragrance. I'm telling you, it's what it does, and it's expensive, as it should be. Going into the next one. This one, again, another cool weather fragrance. If you want to make a nice first impression, a lasting first impression, this one will definitely do that, especially if you like vanilla. Or somebody that likes vanilla around you, this is going to do it while has a little bit more class to it. So I like to exude class when I go out, especially if I'm making a first impression on somebody. And Tom Ford's Noir Extreme will definitely do that, especially during the cooler months, especially in the winter. But this fragrance, it opens up kind of like the Noir Extreme Parfum does throughout the whole fragrance. But this one, it opens up more spicy, woody. It has a little bit of a floral tone to it, but it's more spices and woods to start out. And then very quickly, after about 5 minutes, the vanilla really mixes in there. And the vanilla in this doesn't smell like the vanilla in any other fragrance I've ever smelled. It almost smells like a high-quality vanilla bean that you don't get from many other fragrances. And I absolutely love that about it. While the Parfum, it doesn't really get much of that vanilla. The vanilla is really underneath, and that woody, spicy opening from this really just stems throughout the whole fragrance. I like this because, again, it opens up woody, spicy, kind of like the Noir Ambre did, and then it kind of gets down to that cuddling, but this is more of an elegant vanilla. Well, that one is more of a creamy vanilla. This is more of an elegant vanilla. And I think it's all based on the way that they formed the vanilla that kind of provides that smoky tone. But either way, if you're looking for something going into this fall that is at a decent price range, around $100 or so on discounters, Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Very, very beautiful. You can wear it in a lot of different situations, but it's like a 50-degree or less fragrance, and it really does provide, again, that nice amount of class that you would need to have in a fragrance if you're trying to make a lasting first impression. This one, it might not be for everyone, but I've found that if you're trying to get someone to remember you, you want to have something unique. And I can tell you, there's not a lot of fragrances. This one is a conversation starter that anytime that I wear it, someone always asks me, like, what are you wearing? It smells like minty. It smells, well, I mean, it always does that. Even when I went to the doctor's a couple weeks ago, it did the same exact thing. This is Xerjoff's Torino 21. The herbaceous minty blue tones to this fragrance. I mean, it's a green fragrance mixed together with a blue fragrance with a heavy, heavy minty herbaceous top. And I'm telling you, there's nothing better than leaving a lasting first impression than having a fragrance that somebody just has never smelled before. Because, I mean, if you're talking about just going to the doctor or going to work or something like that, which this can be worn in all those situations, those people haven't smelled anything like this, unless for some reason they're in the fragrance community, which I doubt. There's probably like 5 people in every city that are in the fragrance community. With that said, Xerjoff's Torino 21 is just, again, it has that elegance, but at the same time, it's fresh. It's a fantastic spring and summer fragrance that can be worn anytime, but I mean, because of the very green, minty, herbaceous tones, it's really a spring-centric fragrance that you can wear into summer. I wouldn't wear it fall, winter, so I would, since we are leaning into fall right now, unless you're in like a hotter state or a hotter wherever you live, I would probably put this off until like at least February or so. But Xerjoff's Torino 21, if you want a conversation starter and a first impression, something that you'll leave that room and those people will be like, it smells good, and it pushes out, so they'll remember it because it'll still be in that room. Xerjoff's Torino 21 will definitely do that for you. Speaking of another one that's going to leave a lasting first impression because of the unique value to it, while also having some mass appeal. I do have to say, this one has a hate group, but also it has a huge fan base. So you need to decide which one you are. I know the people around me, at least, like my wife and my daughter, every time I've worn these, they like it. This is Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Les Parfums. I think my daughter actually asked me a couple days ago when I was wearing this, didn't you? When I was wearing this, and I said it's Ultra Male. I mean Le Male Les Parfums. We were in the kitchen, yeah. My daughter's over there, but it's Le Male Les Parfums, and it's an Oriental spiced vanilla fragrance. Again, that Oriental spice isn't for everybody, and even the Le Male line isn't for everybody. You do have to at least enjoy the vanilla and the sweetness from that line. But this one has this spiced cardamom, which really provides a little bit of green and a little bit of this Oriental spice to the fragrance. And so while it still maintains to be, it's like a modernized version of the vanilla from the original Le Male, pair that together with a nice spicy Oriental feeling to it, and this is beautiful. It's going to leave a lasting first impression, and it gets women's attention. I mean, if my daughter, who is 13, can enjoy this fragrance, and my wife enjoys the fragrance at 40, then I can tell you this fragrance is going to be something that you guys should, at least for a conversation starter, is to like going on a first date or something like that. This is definitely one that will get you a lasting first impression. Going into the next one, my daughter's staring at me because I said, get the ladies' attention. Going into the next one, this is Virgin Island Water by Creed. Absolutely fantastic. This fragrance, if you haven't smelled it, then you're definitely missing out. It is the only, if you only had to have one tropical fragrance in your collection, I think that this should be the one. Because it brings the element of that tropical vibe, but it also brings this element of class that you get from a lot of the Creed fragrances, where it's not just based around citruses and fruits and it's not just based around that, because it still has the musk and wood and a little bit of spice underneath everything. While this is based around lime for sure, it's a nice bright citrus that is right up top. It feels like you're literally in the Virgin Islands. It's almost like put the lime in the coconut, twist it all up. Yeah, this is what this fragrance is. It's tropical paradise in a bottle with a little bit of this masculine appeal to it. But yeah, if you want a tropical fragrance, just buy that shit. It's going to leave you a lasting first impression. If you're on a cruise ship, wear that. If you're going to the pool, wear that. If you're at a beach, wear that. You're going to, especially if you're single, wear that. you're going to get the ladies. Anyway, going into the next one. This one has stood the test of time. It's the style of DNA that stood the test of time. This used to be the mall scent. At least the DNA was the mall scent. And this is a modernized version of that that's a little bit higher quality and longer lasting. But, I mean, you find anybody that's my age that's still single and you're trying to find them, let's say you're on Tinder or something like that, and you want to impress that 38 to 45-year-old or maybe even up to 50-year-old woman, they'll remember this scent even though it wasn't what they were smelling back then. This is just a better version of it. Parfums de Marly Percival. Parfums de Marly Percival. It smells like Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce had a modernized baby in 2020. That's basically what this smells like. It's higher quality, longer lasting citrus salad that smells like what the 90s mall used to smell like. And I can tell you, if you have anybody who remembers that, any millennial, wear this and you're getting their attention. You're leaving a lasting first impression. They're going to remember that's what he was wearing. And they're probably going to think you were wearing, and they probably won't ask you, but it smells like 90s mall, just higher quality, better citrus salad. It's fantastic. And speaking of the 90s, I had to include a second discontinued fragrance. I asked the person, or I asked a couple people when I said, do you think I can include discontinued fragrances? And they said yes. Because this one, it leaves a lasting first impression on everyone. But if I had to talk about the EDT, it doesn't last that long, so I wouldn't recommend taking that like on a date or anything. But if you want one of the easiest attention-grabbing fragrances out there, it's Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense. And like I said, this is attention-grabbing as well, the original Boss Bottled, but I had to go with the discontinued because you can still find this between $90 to $110 on eBay or wherever it might be. I have 2 bottles of it. It is just a warmer, creamier version of the original that lasts longer. Instead of 4 hours, it lasts 7 to 8. It's the warm cinnamon sandalwood apple pie, and just a little deeper, a little bit warmer, and it's fantastic. I'm telling you, there is not a single person that if you wore this on a date or you wore this to an interview or you wore this anywhere, that is not going to think that you smell good, and 90% of the time you're going to get asked what you're wearing. It's just what it is. It's a first intention beast. If you want that first impression, I said first intention. First impression, if you want that first impression to go well, I'm telling you, wear one of these 10, and if it's during the cooler weather, wear this. And just buy this. I mean, it smells fantastic. It's a beast. It's one of the best fragrances in existence. But yes, those are 10 fragrances that are fantastic first impression grabbing fragrances. If you want to leave a lasting first impression, those are the ones. Let me know in the comments some of the ones that you would choose for a lasting first impression. And again, for any of these videos, I could pick another 10 probably. It's a vague, it depends on where you're going. Again, it's a vague category. A lot of these are going to be, so don't be like, I can't believe you didn't choose this. I mean, get off your high horse and just type it in the damn comments. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on the next top 10 list. Peace out.